What's up, everybody? Welcome to the History of the Bay podcast. I'm your host, Dregs One. We're here at Empire Studios in San Francisco, and today we have a very important guest. And look, I already know everybody what you're going to say. It's History of the Bay. I know, but we got to show love to Sacramento. I rock with Sacramento, and you can't talk about the Bay without talking about Sac. There's so much history going back and forth, which we're about to get into. And there's no better person to have on the show to talk about that, because this artist I'm introducing right now is a straight up legend, West Coast legend, representing for the ladies of Northern California, one of the first to ever do so. Yes. Collaborate with some of your favorite artists. I think one of the only artists to have songs with Tupac, Mac Drake, and the Jacka, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. Not to mention collaborations with C-Bo and Brother Lynch Hung and so many others, as well as a really long solo career that goes back to the 90s. Yeah. Talking about the one and only Marvaless.
What's up with it, y'all? You already know what it is.
Thank you for pulling up.
For sure. I want to say thank you to the audience and everybody for, this is big for me. You know, we love the Bay Area. The Bay Area has supported us from day one. We could see the counts and how the Bay Area has supported us from day one. And shit, it's 2025 and it's like it ain't changed. Look where I'm at, man. So definitely salute to the Bay Area, and I appreciate you including me in this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like it goes both ways, because there's a lot of love for the Bay in Sac. There's a lot of people from the Bay that have made the move up to Sacramento. Yep. I actually lived in Sacramento for just a couple years myself. Okay. I got some family up there, too. So, I got a love for Sac, but also the music of Sacramento. Actually, I think it had a bigger influence on the Bay than people realize.
Yeah. For sure. I think so too.
Yeah, because I mean, we'll talk about it more, but people.
I think it's just the Bay always kept their own type of energy going. So it was like they love us, you know what I'm saying? But y'all, the baby in their own zone. So. But yeah, it's always been love.
It's definitely
all the way up to now.
It's definitely different energy. The style and the sound there's some similarities and there's some differences too. I mean, definitely. I think both sections stand on their own.
Mm-hmm. But we done took something from each other in little pieces.
Yeah, it's like a whole Northern California thing now.
Yeah,
because now you got the other cities in the Central Valley in the mix too, like Stockton.
Yeah.
And Modesto, and I just had shout out my boy GB from Merced. He blessed me with a whole fit.
Okay,
from
period.
The nose to the toes, rocking all GB's clothing, and he's from Merced.
Salute.
So yeah, the whole Northern California is kind of, I feel like, pretty unified.
Yeah, right now. And that's a beautiful thing. That's what we need.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. Well, I'm always interested in this podcast I'm always doing detective and mystery work, and because the history is no history encyclopedia on this stuff.
Right, that's what we need. We need that.
I might have to get my authorship going. But I wanted to know: are you the first woman rapper from Sac?
That's a good question. I mean, as far as I know, yeah. But there's been some others like Zigzag, and now we got Lil Marvaless, and we got some real heavy hitters out there.
Yeah,
but I think I was probably maybe one of the earliest.
Okay, so we still can't be absolutely sure. The criteria I always look at is who had the first record out. Mm-hmm. I was talking with Too Short about this, if he's the first, even on the West Coast, and even though he started rapping in 1980, he didn't really have an album out until I think 84 or 85.
Yeah.
So it's really who dropped the first
joint. Yeah. Okay, well, I would say the Click definitely came before me. So Sugar T, Conscious Daughters, I can remember recording my album and they was on the radio, because we recorded our shit out here back in the day. Everything was recorded out here. So in the Bay. So, Conscious Daughters, Sugar T, Yo-Yo. Yo-Yo was a really big influence on me. I was listening to myself, my older shit, and, the little voice I was using and shit. And I was like, what? my voice is the same. Why was I rapping so yo nigga? You know, she had that voice like, and so I think like Ghetto Blues. I think I kind of got a lot from Yo. But yeah, I go way back to Finessence and Quest and Roxanne Shante and you know what I'm saying, all them people.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been women in hip hop. It's just I think now there's more representation.
Yeah, for sure.
Than there used to be. Before it was like it's a girl rapping, but now it's like the ladies are running.
Yeah, they hip-hop. Turned up. Yeah.
I think even like locally, like you go to so many shows and the ladies are coming out to support the women rappers.
That's dope. Yep.
What part exactly? You're from the Creek.
Yep.
Okay, so what part of Sacramento is that?
That's like southeast, like not too far from the Gardens, not too far. It's like everything is really close. So, yeah, it's like down Florence. It's a 95828.
Okay.
So it ain't all of it is kind of not too far from each other, but yeah.
Yeah, so for me, I'm from the city, so the map of Sacramento neighborhoods is I'm still working that out.
Okay, you like, it's over off of, yeah.
Yeah, no, I know Florence, I know
it's
South
off
Sac.
of Florence, yeah.
It's crazy how much you learn just even from the music, too.
Yeah, because people just knew, like, I was from the Gardens and I was a Crip, and so it's funny to hear the stories and the different
people had that was the conception that they had.
Yeah, well, because that's who I rode with, so they just automatically was like, yeah, this is where she's from.
Like, speaking of the Gardens, right? Trevor and I had a conversation recently about Sac in the Bay, and X-Rated reposted a clip of it. It's talking about kind of what we were saying, who influenced who. Did the Bay influence Sac, or did Sac influence the Bay? And Sac, X-Rated said that the Mount Olympus of Sacramento rappers is himself, Brother Lynch, C-Bo, you, Looney Corleone, and T Nutty. So I don't know if you caught that he said that he shouted you out.
Okay, right on, X.
But yeah, he put you right up there.
Yeah, for sure. That's big.
Basically one of the founders of.
Yeah, I go way back. Since before I dropped some shit. I know, that was 31 years ago, but even before that, I was known for rapping.
Okay, so like since locally, like with school or the hood or
school, I was a battle rapper. So back when battle rapping first started being battle rapping, so that was my thing back then.
I heard that's also how Brother Lynch started. So was that a thing in Sacramento, like people traveling to go?
Yeah, the battle rap, we was going school to school, right. You know what I'm saying? I never lost a battle, though. That's thankful for that.
And were you battling mostly dudes, or were there other ladies at the time?
Yeah, there was some other ladies, but it was mostly guys.
Okay.
I would always wait to rap last.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll be like, and they'd be like, oh, and it was over.
So being a woman going into it, you were never intimidated or like... felt like you were in a box or whatever, you were able to keep up?
Yeah, as far as the actual art of it, no, I never felt intimidated or felt funny or nothing like that. It was just kind of, I didn't know exactly what I would be doing, but I knew it would be something pertaining to music or entertainment. So the art of it part was always easy for me, and I never felt like, ooh, I'm not dope enough. I never felt that. But just in general, you know what I'm saying, in the way the game go and all that, it just is what it is.
Yeah, and then the other thing about Sacramento is like Sac is like hella treacherous with the politics. I do know that much.
Yeah.
Like that is one thing that even a lot of people from Sac have said is that a big cultural difference from here in the Bay from the Bay and here in Sacramento is just like the gang culture.
Yeah,
it's
crazy.
I feel like in the 80s and 90s especially, it was really active in Sacramento.
Yeah, I just think back then there was kind of like more structure to it, if that makes sense. It was like, it wasn't just like this, like, it's hard to keep up now. Like, it wasn't, you know what I'm saying, what every day is all so many different things, from gangs, from like the red and blue, it's all kind of different subsidiaries of that. In other towns, it's this and it's that. So you always got to, like me, I try to keep up with stuff, but I'm like, this is crazy. And it's all based on, the whole war thing and all that. I get it, you know what I'm saying? But at some point, we got to make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, Sacramento, we have such a great following, and it all started somewhere from the pioneers and the legends that paved the way all the way up till now. So, I don't know. One day, for me, my dream is for people to bridge the gap and all that. But, you know, that's just the hopefulness in me.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I ain't gonna say it ain't gonna. I can't say it ain't gonna never happen.
I feel this. I feel the same way. I mean, even here in the city, I'll be like, man, y'all can't just rap together, like,
okay,
or even
it's not going down.
Yeah, or even beyond the rap. It's just like, you know, people.
It's a bigger picture.
They're still fighting for things that they don't. It started before they were even born.
Right.
Yeah. How much did that impact you in your neighborhood much when you were coming up, or were you able to just kind of navigate around it?
Yeah, I just kind of always stayed in my own lane, so I was able to navigate like I'm me. Like it ain't no, you know, for the people that know me and grew up with me, you know, that know me, they like, well, you know, I've never had any problems like that, like being intermixed with anything, because I guess that could have been easy for some people, but I never got like caught up in that like that.
So you were like focused, like as a kid, mostly on like your talents and the things you wanted to pursue.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
Okay, because yes, listening to like you've been on like some of the most gangsterous songs ever though.
Yeah. Oh, I come from the hood. Don't get it twisted. Like it's, you know what I'm saying. I don't come from no, you know, but I don't know. I just always try to keep it lyrical at the same time because that's where I started. So it was like a mixture to me.
So is for you is more like just kind of illustrating the lifestyle that you saw as opposed to like making yourself like which I don't think you did, but like the biggest killer or anything like that. The most, you know what I mean? Like the hardest. It was more about like expressing that.
Yeah. Most definitely. Yep. I don't be doing nothing, y'all. I just, you know what I'm saying?
I think that's good. I mean, I think there like rap is the only art form where that's a thing. Like I use this analogy before, like Al Pacino can go play Scarface,
right? And
people ain't running up on him like, oh, let me test this gangster. Like, let me see if he's really moving coke. It's like, nah, it's just art, dude. Like it's just a story,
right? That
he's telling. And for rappers, it's telling stories that are based on like comes from a real place.
Yeah.
But that is another thing though I would say about like Sacramento's music.
Yeah.
Especially in the early 90s.
Yeah.
When you listen to like Lynch and C-Bo and yourself, it was like, damn, this is some hardcore shit right here.
Yeah.
I think that's why we liked it so much. We're like, damn.
Now Bo, and you know, I ain't gonna speak on him, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I just got a little bit of gangster in me, not a lot, just a little.
Okay. Sometimes that's enough.
I'm half gangster, half nerd. What it do? Don't get it twisted. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, so you were rapping in high school.
Yeah.
At what point do you start like recording your own projects?
That would have been like, my early years of high school. We was recording in the closet with the tape deck, pressing record and stopping it. I was in a group called Black Rage. Yeah, with my homeboy Travis and AK. And we was all just like super pro-black power. Yeah, so I come from many different backgrounds. I come from the bar game. I come from that whole Black Power movement. That was like when X-Clan and stuff like that was out, and Public Enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
That was kind of a whole phase in hip-hop, too. The Afrocentric, political.
Yeah. They shut that down fast.
Yeah, they switched gears with that pretty quickly. Yeah. So we were talking to like the earlier rappers that were out in Sacramento. Who were the first people that you heard locally?
That probably would have been like MJ Freeze. He had a song called Side in the 916. We had DC Ray. He was on Black Market back in the day. He was real hot.
Did he ever work with Too Short?
He might have. Okay. He was out like way back in the day. Who else? I mean, then it starts getting into like my era after that for me.
Okay, so you're pretty early on.
Yeah.
So was that other local stuff influential?
Oh, definitely. Heck yeah. Yep.
And then outside of Northern California and the Bay, like you talked a little bit about like Roxanne Shante, X-Clan, Public Enemy, any other influential artists? Because your style is pretty
I be all over the
different.
place.
Yeah, it's a very unique style.
That's what I think is dope about me. I be all over the place, you know what I'm saying? And for the people that have been rocking with me, y'all all over the place too. But I like the unorthodox type of thing, so I don't know. It's so many, like Michael Jackson, even people outside of like rap that have influenced me just to be different, you know what I'm saying? Shit, it's Big Daddy Kane. I had the posters on the wall, you know what I'm saying? It's so many. But as far as the ladies, I would say mostly like Yo-Yo, MC Light, Roxanne,
Lady of Rage.
Lady of Rage, definitely. Conscious Daughters, all them, Sugar T. Even though they was like right before me, they, you know, we still was in that era where I was able to look at them and say, okay, I can do this for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So you started recording your own songs with your group.
Yeah.
Where does that take you?
That took me, let's see, I was in high school then, so I ended up being a solo MC again, and I think I was Marva C then. And so I was battle rapping, doing my thing. From then, I graduated, and I ended up linking up back in Sacramento on Sundays. We had a thing at William Land Park where everybody bring their old schools out. They shut it down. They just brought it back, though. So William Land Park Sundays, bring your old school out. But it was there where I seen Root Dog. He's from Meadowview, which is in Sacramento. And he told me, I got some people for you to meet. And da-da-da-da. Then he hooked me up with Malik, who back then had a different name. And he took me to AWOL. And that's how that formulated. Because I was like already known for rapping.
Wow. So point. Straight to AWOL Records, which was started by C-Bo and what's the other brother's name?
Freddie.
Freddie.
Yep.
Freddie from AWOL. So they had probably just put out what, Gas Chamber?
Yeah, that's why I wasn't on Gas Chamber. Gas Chamber was already done, or I'd have been on that thing.
So that was like that was probably the first big album to come, or was X-Rated before? Did X-Rated drop before that?
I think he was, but it was around the same time.
Around the same time. Yep. And so there was also Black Market.
Yeah, for
Records.
Sure. I did. Actually, the first video I did was on Black Market. It was a song, because back then you had the self-destruction song and all that. So we did our own version called Silence the Violence.
Oh, I never knew that.
And we shot a video to it. It's on YouTube.
Oh, I got to check that out.
And you got a lot of rappers from Sacktown on there. So that was like, I think I was like 19. So yeah, that was before AWOL. And I would actually go, Said Singh had a studio in his house, and I would go over there and, you know what I'm saying, and record stuff. But I was never like signed to them or anything. He was like friends of my family, so. Okay.
Because, they had a lot of local talent, too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they had Rated and Brother Lynch and Mr. Doctor, probably a couple others. Man, we was listening to all that.
Okay.
All that stuff. Yep. Okay, so you go to AWOL and you meet Freddie and C-Bo. How did that go?
It was cool, because they was already, you know, like Sacramento legends in their own sense, so. It was real organic. It was a real organic type of thing.
Was it on some let me hear what you got?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Most definitely. Especially back then, you had to know how to rap. You couldn't come in there just doing something and they say, oh, marketing wise, you had to know how to rap. So yeah.
They weren't like,
and that was the fun part.
They weren't like, how many followers do you have?
Nah.
How many views did your last
no.
TikTok get?
No.
Just straight bars.
Yeah. And the people had to rock with you are like already type of thing.
Right. You had to beat somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, all right, cool. You're sign her up.
Yeah.
Did you sign the actual contract?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was the business back then being handled?
It was different. It wasn't probably beneficial for me. I'll say that. Yeah.
You didn't read the fine print.
Nah, I was young. I think I was 19. Right. I was juiced. I wanted to rap. We coming out here to like Live Oaks and the different studios we record. I was juiced. Yeah. I wasn't even tripping off none of that.
Yeah, if you love the music, that's really what you want to do. You're like,
that's
cool,
the
I get to
cold part
record an
about it.
album. All right,
It's a
let's
cold
do it.
game, yeah.
Because I also asked because like that Gas Chamber record, like they really pushed that hard.
Yeah.
Like I've heard
They
people,
pushed all our stuff hard.
Right,
I can
right.
say that, and I'm thankful that I was able to get that push to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Sprinkled in so many places. So ultimately, that was definitely beneficial, and so I guess it came back around. But yeah,
yeah. And AWOL had a roster too, because it was
cold
Pizzo,
roster.
right?
Yep.
Shout out to Pizzo.
yeah,
Did they have Lunatic?
yep. Lunatic.
Was he already on the
And-
label when you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, he wasn't on the label when I signed. He came after that. Yep.
Okay. Killer Tay? Was
Killer Tay.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Was La Rue?
La Rue,
Wow.
you feel me?
Yeah.
We had a cold camp.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a pretty big local label at the
Yep.
time. And I feel also like C-Bo does not get the credit he deserves for putting on so many artists.
Yeah,
He launched a
list-
lot of people's careers.
definitely. Yeah.
Jacka and the Mob Figures, Asian Man, Keek, 3 Times Crazy.
Yeah,
I feel like, yourself.
definitely.
There's probably more I'm missing.
Yeah, he done extended that hand to a lot of people for sure.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, that's always dope when you see somebody who's like not just making it about themselves. And
Yeah.
then also it's like one thing when you're like, when someone's like, yeah, this is my artist and they're signed to me. But another thing when you actually sign to that person and it really launches.
Yeah.
And so, Gas Chamber was produced by Mike Mosley.
Yep. Mostly, I think. I
Yeah.
can't think of every song, but yeah, definitely.
And that's who you started working with too, right?
Well, there was Mike Mosley on Ghetto Blues. There was Mike Mosley, Sam Bostic. There was DJ Extra Large. There was DJ Durrell. And I think Skills was on there too. But yeah, I had a few producers on the first joint.
Those are some pretty legendary names. So
Yes.
So they were cashing out. They were cashing out for beats in studio time for you.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I guess that was out of your.
Yeah.
That was
I
out of
don't know
your
what they was doing.
jurisdiction. Okay. So you started recording Ghetto Blues. That's your debut album.
Yep. And I was actually pregnant with Lil Marv when I did Ghetto Blues.
Wow.
That's why on the cover I look kind of like big. Back then I was actually really skinny, but yeah, on the cover I was like,
Damn. So
Yeah.
you were having a child.
yeah,
Wow.
yep. She turned 31 this year,
Wow.
along with Ghetto Blues.
That's crazy. So she shares a birth year with the album.
Yes.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's big. And yeah, I mean the title like Ghetto Blues is like, and you mentioned like kind of the conscious angle too. Like, feels like you had a lot of social commentary on there.
Then as you keep going, you're
gets
like, okay.
more and more gangster.
But then when I came back around to Fearless, though, I was like, okay, let me, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know.
What do you think that was? You think you were just going with the times of?
Well, that and the actual lifestyle I was living back then and the environment I was surrounding myself with. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
so you just because you dropped this album doesn't mean that you were like, all right, cool, I'm out of here, I made
Yeah.
it.
Nah.
Get to leave
Heck
all
no.
this behind.
Oh, no. I ain't never been that type of person. Nah.
Yeah, but things are like your circumstances are getting like crazy around that time, or what?
Yeah, I mean, we was touring. It was dope. We had a lot of fun times, but I just, if the money matched the fun times, that would have made it even better.
So you had to make certain decisions for survival
Yeah,
purposes.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just like anybody else, right? I mean, damn, that's always the thing I'd be tripping off of, like Northern California rap. It's like,
Yeah,
we listening to some of this stuff, and I'm like, what's going on behind the scenes here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause it always tripped me out. I was just thinking of this today. Like, you turn on MTV or BET, and you see like rappers living a very different lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to like our rappers, it's like, oh, I just seen him in the hood the other week.
Okay. Yesterday.
He just, he sold me some weed. Like,
he got me.
Yeah. So that was always really interesting to
Yeah.
me, is that like everything was still like kind of moving that way.
Yeah.
But when you dropped your first record, like what was the reception?
Oh, it was big. Yeah, it was big, and I was able to travel and tour and do my thing, you know what I'm saying, and be appreciated for the music, which was something I just always envisioned in my head. I pictured it already before it happened, kind of.
So the critical response was positive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But
Because it was one thing to like come out on a label of dope people, but being the woman on that label, and I never thought about it. Now I think about it, I'm like, damn, you was a bad motherfucker.
yeah, you gotta really represent. You can't just be some
you can't
gimmick.
be playing.
Yeah.
There was no games being played back then in that booth, for sure.
So that pretty much puts you on the map.
Yep.
But on the back end, you don't think the money was being accounted for properly?
No.
Yeah. So you're just like, and that's hard. Like, how do you kind of got to figure that out as you go, right?
Yeah.
When you're an artist, did you have a manager? Did you have a lawyer?
No, I never had a manager.
Yeah.
Even up until now. Well, now, I'm working with somebody, but yeah, that's because I think after that and going through that, my whole trust thing was like just,
oh yeah,
it went down the drain, and not on anything having to do with Bo at all, because it was other people that was involved, but
well, he had issues with the label too.
Yeah.
So
Bo and I have never had an issue ever
Right.
in our whole 30, even longer than 31 years of knowing each other. Yeah.
Well, I feel like I've heard several people say they had a similar situation with AWOL.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, back then, that's what it was, a cold game. I guess it still is, because you still kind of hear the same stories from some of these newer artists.
Yeah, absolutely, it is. It's like, I feel like now, the only difference is now you can go pull out your phone and look up, like, hey, how is this supposed to work?
Just as fast, yeah. Back then, you definitely had to have a lawyer. All kind of stuff, but yeah.
Yeah, and even then,
lawyer,
right?
a manager,
you got to look at
publicist.
You got to keep up with physical sales,
right?
And
we was moving mad units back then. Yeah.
Yeah, because everything that I like those days better when everything was in the stores.
Yeah.
And there was like a physical product attached to it. But yeah. All those, that's the thing was I was talking about, I was like, everybody's still kind of stuck in the hood, but like at the same time, people don't understand, like these records were moving.
Yeah.
Volumes.
Most definitely.
All over. How far do you feel like your music started getting out there? Like, were you getting responses outside of just Northern California?
Well, yeah, all over the world. Like everywhere, like last year or maybe the year before last, I did France.
Yes,
they have a thing called the Westival, and it was dope. And they just was all West Coasted out, and then like Japan, I get it's just a lot of Africa. I'd be like, okay, feel me, but having done that and having the ability to do that really is like what it's about for me.
Right.
At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's how you know.
That was always my reason for doing it. It wasn't, now the money is nice too, but it wasn't like, I want to get rich off this. It was just more
experience.
Yeah.
I've been out there too in Gringy, in Paris.
That's where I went too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's actually where the Westival was.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been out there with all
some
of the people. Yeah.
You didn't even know.
Yeah, because it's like, that's like their little like
hood,
it's like a project suburb of Paris.
Yep.
And I met a bunch of dudes from out there, and they all love basically like the West Coast gangster rap.
Yeah.
It's dope.
Yep. It was a good experience.
After your first record, you dropped a few more projects on AWOL, right?
Mm-hmm. I dropped Just Marvelous, Wicked, and Fearless. Yeah.
So it just kept going, your butt, and I feel like you were dropping like pretty much consistent year after year.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Back then, it was like every year you drop something.
One thing I noticed about you is you have hella features.
Oh yeah, I think I might be right behind Quinn in the Guinness Book of World
I
Records.
think you might
I think
be.
they need to put me in that joint. Guinness Book of World Mother Effing Records.
I think so, because I was just
as far as
looking,
the
like,
ladies.
I mean, I think as far as any, but like you said, probably right behind Quinn. This is also like the compilation era, right?
Yeah.
Where people is just getting verses and putting out songs, but you made like damn near every one
I
of
be
them.
sneaking on everything. I was on the West Coast Bad Boys. I snuck on that. I didn't sneak. They wanted me on there. I was on the Sacramento Kings album. I was on the Frisco Street Show. Yeah, I be.
You were on the second West Coast Bad Boys or the first?
I think it was a second.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
Did you deal with Master P directly?
No.
Just did the song and shot it to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, speaking of Frisco Street Show, we had Showtime on the podcast, which was dope.
What? I ain't seen Showtime since back then.
Yeah, he probably still looks the same.
Okay.
He's on his vegan tip.
That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying. I ain't got there yet. I ain't ready to give up my chicken. Not yet.
Showtime, he included you on his projects.
Yeah.
But then he also put out the album with you and Messy Marv.
Yep.
Was that his idea?
No, it wasn't. Actually, that's a long story. I went to the studio because Marv was recording in Sacramento. So I went to the studio, and I had, recorded with him and Quinn way before that.
Yeah, you're on
he
their,
was in Sacramento,
and
he was recording a project with somebody, and I just slid through there, and chilled at the little session. Then the next day, he hit me like, Marv, let's just do a joint thing. So I came back that next day, and I recorded all my verses that next day. I was ready. But when I went in there, I felt the energy like, I'm going to be on this. I just knew it. And then he hit me, and shit, we knocked that shit out in a day.
Oh, so that was pretty much Messy's.
Yep.
What do you think? Do you think he just thought it was dope to have a male-female combo on the record, or was
I think so. Yeah.
Something about y'all chemistry, or?
Well, yeah, I think it was dope, like the male-female combo. Yeah, and then we already knew each other, so yeah.
That was a pretty big album too.
Yeah, it was. Heck yeah.
I feel like
that's legendary.
Yeah, because you mentioned like how Mess was. That's how people got introduced, was with Quinn. But this is when he was starting to get on his solo hype.
Yep.
And he worked with a lot of producers from Sac too, I believe.
Yep.
Sacramento actually also has, that's another thing we should talk about, because there's like a big producer scene up there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of influential beat makers and stuff.
Yep.
Who are some of the producers from Sac that you feel like deserves recognition?
Shoot. Let's see. Going back, you got Big Hollis. Big Hollis was like, he was killing stuff. That's who I did that Ghetto Blues 2001 album with. He did the Mac Dre. I don't know if he did all of them. I think it was a Mac Dre as the name, the album I was on. I Gotta Go. Y'all go run that back. You know what I'm saying? The song was called I Gotta Go. But Big Hollis was real influential back then. I don't know. Like back then, we just really messed with a lot of Bay Area producers. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense too. I feel like I was saying earlier, a lot of people from the Bay, including artists, moved up that way.
That's what I'm saying. Everything, it just keeps going.
Well, Mac Dre was one of those artists too, right? He lived. That's something that Sacramento people just love to bring up. What? Anytime Mac Dre comes up, they're like, he lived in Sac.
Like that's his whole life, right?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, he's from Vallejo, but yeah, he lived in Sac, and obviously he was active, out there, and yeah, that album Mac Dre's the name. How did that come to you getting on that project?
Well, back then, I wasn't really, the cell phones and all that wasn't like they are now, and I wasn't really on no. So he was like, Marv, I forgot. He found somebody that was able to get in touch with me, and I went to the studio, and he was like, yeah, Marv, I had to get you on this. I had to hunt you down. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I couldn't get nobody else on this, so that was dope. And he actually did the beat to that too.
Oh,
so yeah, I was juiced, because this is fucking Mac Dre, yo, like too hard for the radio, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was a dope experience.
Oh, that's tight. Yeah, because people don't realize he made a lot of his own beats too.
Yeah.
He was a producer as well.
Yeah.
Damn, so you were just like in demand.
Yeah, for
from
sure.
all these artists seeking you out.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's like it's coming back around because I got some shit that's about to be dropped that I'm not even gonna tell. It's just gonna drop, and y'all gonna be like, "That's what she was talking about."
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah,
that's good to know.
It really is. I'm excited.
Well, another big person that you worked with is really incredible is Tupac.
Yeah.
And Tupac is another artist that sought you out.
Yeah.
Did that come through C-Bo or?
What had happened was Tupac was like my favorite rapper ever. Like when I did Ghetto Blues, I tell the story all the time. The little things that you sit your little book, like in music class, you had the little black things. Anyways, I had my lyrics right there, and I would have Tupac's picture stuck on the back of it, like at Live Oaks and the little studios out here. When I recorded Ghetto Blues, shout out to D-Wiz, you know what I'm saying? And so it was a couple of opportunities I had. Like I was riding with the Gov one day, and he was like, "I'm gonna hit Pac right now," and he called him, and his answer machine came on, and he was like, "Rap, Marv," and I was like, I couldn't say anything. And so then I had wrote him while he was in jail. And I was like, he ain't gonna get this fucking letter. And then ultimately,
you sent
Bo
him a letter when he was in jail in New York?
Yeah.
Wow.
And so after that, Bo and them ended up going out there, and they was like, "We couldn't find you." So they went out there and did the war stories and the songs that they did. And so when he came back, I was like, "Give me his number." He gave me his number, which was a pager. So I wasn't really tripping. He called back. He was like, "What's up? This Tupac. Somebody pays Tupac." I was like, yes. And so I started like trying to say, "This is C-Bo's sister." Before I could even say that, he was like, "Marvaless." And he told me I got my letter and all that. And
wow,
that's how we ended up linking that up. So yeah.
What was in the letter?
The letter was just like, you know what I'm saying? We need you type of thing. Like stay strong. You know what I'm saying? Keep pushing, and how much of an influence he was on me as an artist. And it was like that. Yeah.
Well, obviously it made an impression because he must have been getting thousands of letters.
So that I was like, okay, he did get it. And then he flew me out there, and we did the Never Be Peace song. Yeah.
Did that song end up coming out?
It did, but they redid, you know, they put other people on it.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm a big Tupac fan.
Yeah.
And I've been on a mission just digging up all these unreleased songs because I was buying some of the posthumous albums that came out, and you know, some of them it was like they like had Eminem remake the beat or whoever was hot at the time, and they were putting people like whatever rapper was hot, like I think that's what they on that song. If I'm not mistaken, they put Eminem on that song, but they definitely put other people on there. Who made the beat?
Johnny J.
Damn. See, that's what I was gonna say.
And Danny Boy was singing the hook.
Man, Johnny J. He produced the illest Tupac songs, in my opinion, especially some of them ones that never got released. Yeah. And when you hear the Johnny J version and then you hear whatever Frankenstein remake they made, you're like, why didn't they just put this out?
Yeah.
So his verse came out without you or Johnny J or Danny Boy.
I didn't even really listen to it. I seen it and I was like, okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
But nothing else was released. Do you have those songs?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. That song is on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube. Oh,
yeah. And then Johnny J did a remix to it. I got that version of it too.
Okay.
Yep.
I got a unreleased Tupac playlist on YouTube. I'm about to add that on joint.
There. It's called Never Be Peace.
Wow. So this was like not too long before his passing, huh?
Right. Yep.
Damn. Yep. So you got to work with him just like at the end of his time.
Yeah.
Did he share with you any other plans to like keep working together?
Yeah, he was like, when we got off the phone, he ended up calling me back. He was like, "Are you still signed?" And I'm starting this record label and all, So yeah, we had a conversation about that. Yeah, definitely.
Wow, because one thing I learned about Pac is he was gonna start his own label.
Yeah,
and he was gonna do his own compilation.
Right.
With artists from Northern California, the Bay Area, the South, the East Coast, the One Nation album.
One Nation, yep.
That's something I feel like if that had come out, it would have changed hip hop entirely.
Yeah.
Because it almost seemed like he was like kind of putting the East Coast thing to bed by working with artists from New York and Philadelphia, but it also seemed like he was returning to his roots in the Bay because he was grabbing a lot of Bay Area and Northern California artists.
Definitely. Yeah.
Around this time too is also like when C-Bo got locked up.
Yeah.
Did that also kind of throw a monkey wrench in your career? Not having like
I
his
wouldn't
support?
say necessarily in my career, but well, I guess it depends on how you look at it, but it definitely threw a monkey wrench in the whole like functionality of how things went, because he was a nucleus as far as the artist, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, we definitely had to keep rocking. You know what I'm saying? We had to build the cardboard cutouts of Bo at the show, like, free C-Bo, you know what I'm saying? But we kept it rocking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And but when he got out, he left AWOL as well, right?
Ultimately, yeah.
And that's when he started West Coast
Mafia,
which you were on as well, right?
That's right here.
Oh shit, represent.
Yeah.
So that was like so that was a new situation.
Yeah.
Did that work out better for you? Like,
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah.
what was that?
Because it was built off of trust. So that's what always stands out the most to me, and respect, you know.
And he pretty much just got everybody that he had brought to AWOL, almost everybody, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
And by then, like, I'm imagining like things just kept kind of growing for y'all, right? Like the fan base was getting bigger.
Yeah. And then it was always dope to have the core fan base, because they the ones that are still here till today.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
You mentioned like earlier, like as you were getting more into music, the circumstances of your life were still kind of like up and down. Did that start to change as time went on, or?
Well, yeah, it did. And then, I mean, like you said, it was up and down, though, because it wasn't really just always about the rap music. Like with this rap shit, it can go one way, it can go another way. You're never going to know. So you always got to have something to fall back on. So it was definitely like a teeter-totter, you know, because I'm like, this is what I do, you know what I'm saying? But you're going to have to pay me for it. Like,
Man.
I freestyled back in 7th, 8th grade in high school.
Right.
And even now, the battle rapping, they getting paid for that. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, bear with me. I'm like jumping all over.
It's all good.
I'm freestyling right now.
Okay, that period.
Another Frisco Street Show project that I really enjoyed was your album with Jacka and Husalah. Was that a Showtime invention, or was that just y'all?
That was kind of something we all came together with. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yep. He well, I forgot how we ended up out there at the same time, but me and Jack was out there and we was talking about it, and he was like, yeah, let's do it, but who's going to be the other person? So Jack actually was like, let's get Hus on it, and that's how that happened. Yep.
That's tight. Yeah, because up to that point, I mean, Jacka and Husalah obviously always hella close, but they had never had their own
joint
project together. And I thought, was that album entirely produced by Rob Lowe too?
Yeah. Yep.
So you're basically working with the mob figures at that point.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was they was so dope, and just like the raw, to me, the raw essence of hip hop, even though they still was West Coast, you know what I'm saying? They gave it that natural hip hop form. So I don't know, the people I've done projects with, it's been very organic. Like, it wasn't no forced type of thing. Yeah.
I noticed too, like to this day, you still have a picture of you and Jacka as your profile picture.
Yeah, I'm never changing that. Yeah.
So you had a special bond with him?
Yeah. I mean, I think like everybody that, even from the people that listened to his music to the people that literally knew him, he just was a special dude. Like, he was a real one. He wasn't, you know, with me, he was just, everything was respectful. He was always like, he was a real one. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I agree.
That definitely hurt a lot. Like,
yeah.
I
had a chance to meet him and be around him a couple times, and just a really dope person.
Yeah.
And everybody says that. It's just,
Yeah.
He was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, as a matter of fact, I was so young when I met him that like it really made an impression on me. Like, oh, this is how you're supposed to treat people.
Right.
Because at the time I met him, he was a superstar out here, but he was just hella cool and down to earth and just super chill.
That's dope. Yeah.
So that was something that a lot of people say. It's dope that you had a chance to work with him. Like I said, it's crazy. Tupac, Mac Dre, Jacka.
Yeah. Cougnut.
You did a song Cougnut too?
Yeah.
Oh, was that on the
Coug and Killer Tay?
The murder show?
It was called Dirty Game. It was called Dirty Game.
I remember that one too. Yeah, like I said, you had the most like gangster songs, man.
Yeah.
Like
Period.
another song we used to be off back in the day was Murder Kill. Murder Kill Murder.
Oh, murder.
Yeah.
Kill.
Yeah. One time I saw these two girls in the lowrider just slapping that.
Okay.
Might have been you. I don't know. It might have been you driving through Frisco.
Nah. Shit. You never know.
But I just seen the most gangsters girls slapping that in a lowrider on Mission Street. I was like, damn.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot of hardcore raps from you.
Yeah.
So after, I feel like around that time, the Mess album, the Mob Figures album, you still put out music, but do you feel like the rap slowed down for you at any point?
Yeah, I actually took a break, and I had now I can go back and see why. But back then, it was just, I was living my life, but I had lost my dad, I lost a sister, I lost a brother. I just started losing people, so ultimately now I know that's why I took a break, but I did. And I think after that I dropped that Ghetto Blues 2003, or did that come before? All that was around at the same time. That, the album with Marv and the album with Jacka Husalah was all around the same time. 2006 or 7, I think I dropped Ready Made. Then after that there was a few more years, so yeah, I definitely took some breaks.
I mean, it's also like around the time the whole music industry started changing.
Yeah.
I feel like that impacted the independents too.
Yeah,
like
it got
people
crazy.
stopped buying CDs and tapes, and
I still print up some though. When I drop a project, I print me up some CDs because I'm like the hardcore fans is gonna want that physical product, t-shirts, CDs, all that.
Have you ever done any vinyl repress?
Yeah. Well, I got the old school vinyl. Like I think I got Ghetto Blues, Eyes on the Prize. I think those are the only two I got.
Yeah, you might want to look into some repressing.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's big with the collectors.
Yeah.
Is the vinyl.
Yeah.
Was it challenging also, like raising your daughter? Do you have more than one kid, or
no, just one?
Just her.
Yep.
Were you single mother?
Yeah.
How was that, being a single mother and then managing a whole rap career?
It definitely was hard, but I was thankful because when I got pregnant with Lil Angel, a.k.a. Lil Marv, everybody call her Lil Marv, but she's really named after my sister Angel. Okay. When I got pregnant with her, though, my sister, who I'm talking about, she was like, I know you're going to make it. It was like, as I was recording the Ghetto Blues song, so I didn't have anything out at that point, but she was like, you're going to make it, and don't worry, when you go, you're going to be going on tour, and I'm going to watch your daughter. And at this point, I didn't know I was going to name her after her, but that's ultimately what ended up happening. I was able to have somebody that was there for me, like she's probably the closest person to me to help me with my daughter. So I got lucky in that aspect.
Right. Yeah, because this lifestyle is a lot of being out of the home.
Yeah.
Late night studio sessions.
We would be gone for
shows.
touring, 2-3 months at a time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And y'all were touring nationwide too, right?
For sure. Yeah.
What were some of the other big markets? I feel like a lot of the AWOL stuff was probably big down south, huh?
Yeah, but even bigger in the Midwest, up in that area.
KC.
Yeah. KC, Oklahoma, St. Louis, Louisville. All those areas up in there. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a busy lifestyle. Was that another reason you slowed down too, or to take some time to?
I just think maybe at that point my focus wasn't so much on the rap, just putting stuff out. Because like you said, the whole game changed. Back then, we would do an album, And then, you know, you would have that whole year to fix it and do whatever you was going to do or switch some shit up. And then it would come out that next year. Now, you know, they dropping shit every month or every couple of weeks. So,
yeah.
Yo, you got to be able to dig within your psyche and change, reprogram your whole process of how you doing shit to a certain degree without leaving out how it was originally done. So that's something I had to finally kind of get a grasp on.
Yeah, and well, since then, your daughter raps too.
Yeah, yeah.
And y'all
Lil
have
Marv.
songs together.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
That must be a good feeling.
It is. Yeah, it's the best feeling ever, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're literally like paving the way, right?
Yeah, and then just like working with her is like being able to work with my younger self. Like it's just like that. It's like I'm sitting in there with her. Like she writes really fast, like me. She's dope. Like if she was my daughter and she wasn't dope, I would say you're not dope.
Right. Yeah.
I come from the era, you gotta be dope. But yeah, she's hecka dope to me, so that makes it even better.
And you mentioned that like so do you have like new stuff that you're working on?
Mm-hmm.
And
yep.
Do you still feel excited about rap? Do you still feel like this is something you know, do you still have the same passion for it? Because I say that to say like a lot of people I talk to from your era, even trying to get them to come on the show, they're like, I don't do that shit anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, not me. I'm pulling up like what it do, man.
No, the fans don't understand. They're like, get so and so on here. I'm like, bro, he doesn't even want to be reminded.
No, yeah. I mean, I've had those moments. Well, I ain't never had that moment. Like I don't. But you know, sometimes you know. I don't know. For me though, I like this. This is what I love. Like I said, I always knew would be doing something within the entertainment field, whether it was music or whatever. Like I played the clarinet in high school. You know what I'm saying? I knew I was in little plays and stuff. So I knew I sung Diana Ross. Missing you in like third grade. I'm like, dang, I wish I had that footage, but I just always knew I would be doing something within the entertainment field. So for it to come around full circle and for it to be 2025, y'all, I started rapping. I know it matters when you drop something, but I started rapping in 6th grade. You feel me? So that was 73, 80. That was like the early 80s. So it's just a blessing to still be here, still rocking, still being booked, still being interviewed. You know what I'm saying? It's dope.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's really cool.
For sure.
Well, I'm glad that you were able to pull up and share your story.
Yes,
on
me
this
too.
Platform.
For sure.
I got to say now I'm in the Marvaless story too.
You feel me? I did this interview, you know what I'm saying? I pulled up. It's going down in history, man. The first person from Sacramento to do History of the Bay, and it's nothing but love. I love the Bay Area. Please believe it. Salute to my boy Mac Ream and Big Twine from West Oakland. They was gonna pull up, but you know what I'm saying? We'll catch them on the next one. The Bay Area always showed love to us. Salute to everybody. It's so many stories I could tell about being out here in the Bay. That's another interview though. Man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and I do say this a lot, but I do mean it that I would love to have you back sometime for part 2.
I used to catch the bus out here. Do you hear me? To do my Ghetto Blues album with my Chrome 357 in my purse. The bus, the Greyhound, going to West Oakland, the Lower Bottoms. You know what I'm saying?
That's one of the grimiest Greyhound stations
I
in
love
the world,
the Bay.
too.
I love the Bay all the way to San Francisco. You know what I'm saying? Much love for sure.
Yeah, we'll have you back, and I
Yes.
appreciate you coming down. Anytime I can support, just let me know.
For sure. I'm gonna bring Lil Marv with me next time. Y'all.
Yeah, that would be
Yes.
dope. That would be dope.
It's gonna be like interviewing me all over again, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
cool.
gonna bring
I mean,
her.
I'm sure she has her own perspective
Yeah,
too.
for
That'd
sure.
be
Yeah, she
interesting
definitely
to hear.
does. Yeah.
There it is, y'all. History of the Bay, Sacramento to the Bay, 916 to the 415. Dregs One, Marvaless in the building. See y'all next time. Peace.
Let's go.
Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay. Recognize where you got the game. We got our own style, got our own slang. Northern California is a West Coast thing. This is the history of the Bay.